Hey, this is Aaron,
And this is Kristen.
and this is Drive Mode Show.
Whoop, whoop. Welcome back.
Kristen is fresh off the rebel and in recovery, meaning
Yes.
R&R.
Yeah, you know what's really funny? I slept in a tent on the ground for 9 nights, and I came home to my wonderful bed, and I woke up the next day with a crick in my neck. So I'm like, I can't turn my neck very well, and I just slept in a nice bed that day. I don't know.
So today we want to talk about something that is a little more day to day, a little more contemporary, a little less sleeping on the ground.
Thank you.
Today we're going to talk about a new Mazda. Kristen got to drive it.
Yes, and I loved the CX-90, Mazda's first hybrid. I always thought that the CX-9 was underrated in the three-row SUV category. It's kind of wagony. I like the sleek lines of it. The third row is a little bit tight. It's not like you want to put a couple of full-grown adults back there. But when you need 3 rows, I would highly recommend it because Mazda brings the whole package.
So the new CX-90 is replacing the CX-9.
Right.
It's roughly the same configuration, same idea, right? So it's a 3-row crossover SUV.
It is. Yep, it's pretty much the same thing, except this is Mazda's first hybrid. So it has its inline six, 3.3 liter inline six, plus the 48-volt hybrid. So it's a little more efficient than it was before. And I would say that Mazdas have always been pretty efficient, but now you've got luxury, quality, and more efficiency. And it starts at 40 and then has 8 trims. I mean, that's a lot of choices. 8 trims, but it ranges up to about 60, which I still think is fair for what you get.
Yeah, Mazda doesn't have a premium brand, so their high end. You think $60,000 is a lot, but if you compare that high end to other in any Mazda to equivalent luxury models, they're very similar. Mazda really knows how to do some luxury when they want, and those higher trims um, really prove that. So, what's the premium stereo in this?
It's a Bose because we love Bose. Yeah, it's really nice. I mean, it's good quality. Of course, the infotainment system is kind of a love it or hate it situation with that command control knob, which they still have,
Mm-hmm.
surprisingly. I find that it's not super high tech, but what Mazda says is that if you own the car, you set it and forget it.
Mm-hmm.
You've got your channels already programmed in, you've got your favorites. It's a bit of a learning curve to set it up, but once it's done, then it should be theoretically easy.
Yeah. They still have the volume knob on the center console thing on the. Was it still
Yeah, I'm
there?
trying to remember. I think so.
Um, the nice thing about that is if you are a channel surfer like you are, you can push that back and forth, and that's your uh, either favorites or one channel to the next, depending on what you have toggled. So
Yeah, I do like that. And it is a fairly straightforward system. When you want to choose a favorite, you just push the star button and it selects that, or you can unselect it. It just if you travel a lot, or well, if you use satellite, you've got your programs already in there and you're good to go, right?
yeah, and I'm one of those people that I like to go star all the stuff I know everybody else is going to hate because I know that the car is going to somebody else later.
Like Octane.
Cannibal Corpse. That should come up every time.
I know.
But
I always make sure Hair Nation is in there and all the news
yeah,
channels wiped out.
there was one car. It wasn't a Mazda, but there was one car where the none of the favorites had been set because I normally do a factory reset when I get a car, and none of them had been set. And so my daughter we had it on liquid metal and we were driving, and my daughter just favorited it on every one of those presets all the way across.
That's hilarious. You can do that. I mean, you could do that.
So for the CX-90, they changed the style a fair amount, but they also changed a lot of the underpinnings too, like different platform a little bit. So does it drive differently? Does it feel different?
I would say it feels pretty similar because Mazda is very consistent. You know, you can feel the hybrid kick in a little bit, and I liked it. It felt great, and I think the Mazda experience is just very good.
Okay. Mazda knows how to make a good drive. All of their cars drive well. In fact, Mazda is probably the only manufacturer I would point out this is and say they don't have a bad vehicle in their lineup anywhere. Every one of their vehicles is great. They don't have anything
I
that's
agree.
like middling, right? Or bad.
Yeah,
All of them are great. So,
I agree. They don't try to go way outside of their comfort zone. You know, they're not super daring. But I think that's fine. Like that's not what Mazda is. You know, they produce high quality luxury vehicles and they kind of fly under the radar. You know, but the one big thing to me that Mazda has going for it is that they make incredible paint colors. I mean, Soul Red Crystal Metallic is so distinctive. You can spot it from a mile away. You'd be like, "Oh, that's Mazda."
everybody knows it. Yeah.
Yeah, everybody knows it. It's gorgeous. It glows from the inside, and the process, even the paint process, is impressive. But now for the CX-90, they also have this artisan red that almost looks like it looks like a black cherry in the sun,
Mm,
or even a darker, almost black in the shade.
cool. And then if you throw artisan on there, you can get the people with beards to buy it.
What are the odds?
CX-90 stays with the Mazda like we would expect, feels like it, looks like it, acts like it, right?
Sure does. And I'd still recommend it just like I would have with the CX-9. I think they've made some great improvements for the CX-90. And it is a high quality 3-row that I think most people would be really happy about.
That's a good sum up.
Thank you.
All right. This is let me do that again. This is Aaron.
And this is Kristin.
This is Drive Mode Show. Please subscribe.